All right, very excited. It feels like last year, Leo, we were talking to Chris Bosh. He was getting his number in the rafters.
Yes.
This week, Dwyane Wade, he is going up in the rafters. Chris Bosh, thanks for the time. Really appreciate it.
Oh, man, no problem. Thank you guys for having me.
What was the best part of that night? We got to talk to you before it actually happened. What was the best night of jersey retirement? Was it seeing it go up? Was it being with people? What's the memory that sticks out from that night?
Man, just being back on the court in front of everybody, man. You know, you prepare so many nights and so many different times, so many big games, disappointments and triumphs, everything in between, and just being in front of the crowd. That is, and having that feeling, like that nervous feeling of something about to happen. That's pretty much the parts that I missed and miss most. And I think looking back on it, just being able for my children to be there and see that and see what's possible, that was the most important things for me.
You got the patented Bosh roar after it went up. We love seeing that. You getting the crowd fired up. Like it must have been like it must have had all that energy. Everybody was so happy to see you back there and have an honor like that.
Yeah, no, that was pretty much my trademark, I guess. And you know, I don't get to scream at people too much nowadays. It kind of gets misinterpreted if you do that in the civilian world.
Yeah, it does. Take it from me.
Yeah, you can't do that every day, man. You know, my kids wouldn't understand it if I came in yelling all the time.
Hey, the word accountability does not work once you leave sports.
I am finding that out day by day. That's why I teach my kids accountability every day. I'm turning into one of those guys. You need to be accountable. You know,
already there.
Oh yeah, I sound like my father already. It's crazy. It's like what's the commercials? They say, yo, you sound like your dad. That's definitely me now.
Oh, what's it, Geico? Is that Geico commercials?
Yeah, Geico commercials.
Or the Progressive.
Yeah, you sound like your dad. Yeah, you sound like your dad trying to fix things all over the house and everything. Yeah, I'm that guy now.
Are you going to be there this weekend, Chris, for Dwyane's jersey retirement?
Yes, I will be there.
What are we going to get any chances to hear from you guys? I know they're doing like a whole 3-day weekend type of deal. Are you going to get any chance to speak on your memories of Dwyane and playing with him?
I don't know. I'm actually going to hear some more things today. So I'm just a passenger on this ship, man. I'm just a passenger on this ship, and it's cool that the fact that he has a 3-day celebration. Only Dwyane Wade could do that.
Yes.
3-day celebration.
Yes.
That is amazing.
But
I just want a celebration for one day. You know what I mean?
Right.
We got 3.
But when you think about Miami and you think about the Heat, if there's one guy that would have it, it has to be D Wade, right? I mean,
I think that's the only person. If you ask anybody around the world, if you say Miami Heat, what's the next name you think of?
D Wade.
10 times out of 10, they're going to say D Wade.
Right. Yeah, Chalmers is going to press for a 4-day celebration, though.
For sure, and he should.
I know it's such a vast time, but like from your time with Dwyane, whether it's on the court, off the court, are there moments that come more often than others that really flash in your mind of your time with him?
You know what, man? It all kind of goes by all at once, man. It was kind of it was fast. Everything happened so fast, and I think the further removed we all get from it, I think the more we'll see how special it was. I know I have. For me, that's been something that I've been really, really thinking about and kind of reflecting on as you know, time has kind of distanced us from it. But, it was amazing. It was just such a blur and such a whirlwind. It was always the next game and the next season and the next championship and, the next opponent. You're just along for the ride, just going in that, and then the next thing you know, it's over. And then, quickly it became over in more ways than one for me. And then, time moves on, just like always. But looking back on it, it was a very special time. I know people are here in Miami. I know for sure they really miss those times and are really, really clamoring to get them back,
Now, Chris, most people talk about, how great, the Big Three was when they got together and how dominant you guys were. But you guys had to be friends to get through that, right? Like, there's no way you couldn't lean on each other and get through where they're one, everybody hating LeBron. LeBron never been hated, helping him through that. Mm-hmm. You having to go through the transition of being, the guy that's going to shoot threes and play outside the paint a little bit more than playing in the paint like you did in Toronto. Yeah. And D-Wade giving up some of the limelight to LeBron. How did you guys get through all that?
One day at a time. Just kind of we had to develop, definitely had to develop a mental toughness. But that sense of togetherness, right, like you were saying, we couldn't have done it without each other. And the fact that we had such a close-knit group, it was more than just practices. It was breakfasts we had together, dinners, the wives getting together, supporting each other's events and charities. It was way bigger than just the sport. So when we did get on the court, or we did have to answer questions to the media, we could be accountable, and we didn't throw anybody under the bus, and we never got away from the team concept, and I think that was that was like the main ingredient to our success.
We're talking to Chris Bosh. So you posted last night. You posted last night on your Instagram page this long statement on not making the Hall of Fame. I know on our show we were all very upset about it because we obviously think that you're a Hall of Famer. But you spoke much about like the disappointment in dealing with it. I guess what was this weekend like for you when you found out you weren't a finalist for the Hall of Fame, and what made you want to, I guess, expound upon it for everybody?
Well, I mean, what made me expound upon it, I was just honestly just speaking from the heart, and I'm trying to, nobody has ever really heard me talk, honestly, too much. And, that was just one of those things. I just felt I had to say something, man, and especially to be honest with you, with Kobe's passing. He was a good friend of mine, and just his spirit always is talking now. I see him everywhere, and so getting that news, and I'm like, it's still another round, and I'm like, damn, I didn't even make it to the next round. It's like one thing, like, I think I'm going to play in the tournament. I don't even get in the tournament. I can't even play the first round. You know what I mean? And I mean, I'm a competitor, man. I live basketball. I'm a historian of the game. This is in my blood. You know what I mean? I've been playing basketball since I was 3 years old. We've been going to recreation centers down at Tommy and Malin and MLK in Dallas, Texas since I was 4, and I've been watching the game closely, and I know about the game. And yeah, it's shocking, man. I mean, it is what it is, and people will tell you to wait till next year. But as we've seen in Kobe's situation, what if there isn't a next year?
Right.
Yeah.
And then, like I've been telling people, like if it were Kobe talking, he would let you know, point blank, period. And I just felt passionately about it. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to get it out there in the open and get it off my chest and just be honest.
You said in your statement that you still feel like you should be playing. Like, do you like if anybody gave you a chance, like you still feel? I know when we talked about this in the past, like you've said, like the first time the blood clots happened, it was a scary thing, but the second time you felt fine, and I know physically you're feeling fine. You still wrestling with that, the idea that you physically feel fine and feel like you still could do something, and how the game is today, like your skill set feels like it would be at the peak of its powers.
Yeah, I mean that would be that. I didn't get. That's one of, not a regret, but that's one of the things in my career that I never will get to experience, is trying to hold on to that longevity. You know what I mean? That's one thing that players always get to go through, and I see, you got to see Dwyane do it, and now we're watching Bron do it, and Melo do it as well, but trying to figure out how to continue to be successful. But with that said, I'm too far removed from the game right now. I don't look back and say, man, I should still be playing. It's there. If I watch a basketball game today and I see how, the floor is spread, I'm like, man, this is amazing. I could have gotten at least 2 or 3 more years out of this league. You know what I'm saying? And I'm always going to come back to that conclusion every single time. It doesn't fill me with regret or envy or anything like that, but it's there. I'm I'm aware that's there, and it's just something fun to talk about sometimes. But for the most part, the game has passed me by. I mean, I always come back to the conclusion as well, like, okay, Chris, you've done it all. What else were you going to do besides, then call you old?
Well, Chris, we always have the conversation that where all these stretch 4s and 5s are going, you were there. So your game would have carried longer than others. But it sounds like you telling me you wanted your body to break down before you retired. Like you wanted the opportunity for your – huh?
You said that I wanted it to break down?
You wanted to get to the point where you had to fight your body and do what Mark Jackson. Body, not now. Like you wanted to go through that.
Yeah, man, we're crazy people, man. We're crazy people. We're trained to go out in the blaze of glory, man. And that is a part of it. So just the fact that you thought about somebody that went through that, maybe one of your favorite athletes, that was a moment in time for them, even if it was tough.
Right.
Regardless, it was a challenge. And, that a challenge is kind of the things that get me up in the morning, and not being able to have that challenge, it is what it is. But regardless, I still enjoyed the ride. It was amazing. It got cut faster than I would have liked it to, but, when I still look back, it was still a masterpiece.
Chris, before we get you out of here, last year when we talked to you, you told us that you thought Bam Adebayo, he could be anything he wants, is what you said. You didn't want to put a limit on him. I guess from you getting a little time with him this summer, what have you made of his jump this year with the Miami Heat, and have you been impressed by what he's turned into, I guess, in his first year of having this responsibility of being a key figure on a team?
Oh, he's done a phenomenal job. I was thinking in my mind, man, this guy could be an all-star, but that's too early. I don't want to put, that he shouldn't have that much pressure on him. Then, boom, he rises to the occasion. And he deserves all of that credit. You know what I mean? I'm sure nobody outside of his family and outside of the Heat thought that he could be an all-star. But just to see him in that role and him play his way of basketball, the game just comes natural to him. And, I hope his confidence grows. And then him winning the skills challenge, now he'll probably really think he's a point guard. You know what I mean? So
I just wish he would shoot that three.
Second half. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he'll get there. He'll get there. I'm assuming he'll get there. But, we still have to remember, man, he's still in his infancy in his NBA career.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's so exciting. They've got a franchise cornerstone guy. And, what's most important for him is to learn how to be a leader, to learn how to lead the guys. And now he's got to deal with expectation, which is fine. It's all fine and dandy this past weekend. It's a lot of fun. Boy, you get your new All-Star jerseys and your warm-ups. Then when you come back down to reality, you've got that X on your back, and you've got to produce every night. So it'll be very, very exciting to see how he responds.
Chris, enjoy the festivities. It's going to be cool to see you back around the arena again this weekend. Enjoy the Dwyane ceremony and all that. And we know you're getting the Hall of Fame, man. I don't mind. Future Hall of Famer Chris Bosh.
You're a Hall of Famer. There's no doubt. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah. I thank you. And thanks to everybody who's listening for the support and everything. I've gotten a lot of positive messages. But, hey, man, I still, there's much more work to do. I'm still, making things happen, and my family is happy and healthy, and that's what's most important.
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you, Chris. You mentioned that. Getting back to what are you doing in the office? Like, what is going on with you these days? Because you were like, you took a Monday off, and you were like, this is a vacation. Back to the grind of the office. Like, what are you up to? Like, what is the big project on Chris Bosh's plate? Because you're like your Instagram, social media, the media stuff. That stuff's all been cool. It's been awesome seeing your reaction to stuff, the trades, and all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's a huge part of it. I'm very much so into production, producing content. I'm working on a podcast, working on a book. I just love creating stuff. I've been working with music artists for the past 3 years and producing music for the past 5 years. Things are slowly bubbling, but I'm going to begin to roll out things as the months go on, and I'm really looking forward to really just connecting through social media to the people, and just get some dialogue going and have some great things to hopefully inspire some people and inspire the kids, the boys and girls who might not have a lot going for themselves, or might wake up and say, well, what am I doing today, or what am I doing with my life? I had basketball, and that was an amazing thing. But then all of a sudden I was kind of put into this world where it's like, okay, well, what are you going to do next? And I didn't have basketball to really fall back on. That automatically made me empathize with, like, high school students, middle school students, kids in their adolescence that hear the same thing. They don't have ball, but they might be in the arts, and they don't have an art program at school or in their community. Well, what do they do now? You know what I mean? So, just trying to craft a message for them to tell them to keep their head up and find their things and be proactive and not worry too much about, what's around them, but focus more so on what they want to accomplish.
Sounds awesome. Thanks for the time, Chris. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.